Good morning. Good morning. It's a wet Wednesday morning, but I want to welcome you to Wednesday Morning Coffee Break. Thank you for joining me for Wednesday Morning Coffee Break. We're going to continue looking at the King that is coming as prophesied in the Old Testament. We're in a series. This is part 2. Last week we spoke from the 8th century prophet of the Old Testament, Micah. This morning I want to share from the 6th century prophet, Isaiah. It was a time of turmoil. It was a time that the audience that Isaiah was speaking to, they were on the verge of a national crisis. It was a time where people were prideful. They had turned against God. It was a time of darkness and distress. But Isaiah gave a message of hope, just as Micah did in the 8th century. A message of hope concerning the coming of a ruler and the coming or the establishing of a kingdom. Let's look what Isaiah said in chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. Isaiah said, "For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. The government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called," watch this, "Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And his government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity." Wow, that's some great news. But let's look at these names for a second. Wonderful Counselor. The implication there is that this ruler would be one that would do something extraordinary. That this wonderful Counselor, this king, would do miraculous things. He would be someone that was wise and that would offer solid counsel. And he was mighty God. What? He was called mighty God. No other prophet, no other priest, no other anybody in the Bible was given God's name. Therefore, there must be something really special about him. And we're going to see that in another devotion. An everlasting Father, rulers would rule and they would die. Kingdoms would rise and then they would fall. But this ruler would rule as a father and he would rule forever. Daniel said in Daniel chapter 2, verse 44, that the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. It will itself endure forever. And then Isaiah called him the Prince of Peace. This ruler wanted to bring peace. He wanted to bring prosperity. He wanted to bring an end to the war and end to the hard times and take away the darkness and the moral injustice and the unfairness. And not only did he want to, he will. And then Isaiah said he would rule with fairness and justice and ruling from the throne of his ancestor David. This ruler would be fair. He would be just toward all the people. There would be no favorites. There would be no buying of special favors because he was fair. In Isaiah chapter 11, beginning in verse 2, listen what else Isaiah says about this ruler, this king that's coming. He said, and the Spirit, and that's a capital S, the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh, will rest on him. The Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. He will delight in obeying the Lord. He will not judge by appearance nor make a decision based on hearsay. He will give justice to the poor and make fair decisions for the exploited. The earth will shake at the force of his word, and one breath from his mouth will destroy the wicked. He will wear righteousness like a belt and truth like an undergarment. Wow, this is the ruler. This is the king that's coming. This hope was encouraging. It was an encouragement to Isaiah and his followers to keep speaking about the things of God and the promise to bring peace and justice to the world through this coming ruler. It's also an encouragement for us today, because we too need to continue to speak of God and the coming back of the Messiah that will take us to our forever kingdom. For today it may seem dark, it may seem hopeless, but there is good news. A king is coming. Next week, we're going to see the birth of that king. God bless you. Thank you for joining me for Wednesday morning coffee break as we're in this series talking about the coming of the ruler, a king, and a kingdom. Thank you for joining me. I hope you'll share this series with other people. God bless you. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful Wednesday. And I will see you next week on Wednesday morning coffee break. Bye now. See you next week.